Good day everyone. So today we were going to talk about the proteins, including its roles, its shape, and the protein sequence, such as primary structure and secondary structure. But first, we will read the learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students would be able to describe the levels of protein structure, appreciate the importance of proteins in maintaining life and body function, and create a diagram showing alpha helix and beta sheet formations. So what are proteins? It says here that proteins are large, complex molecules and they are made up of amino acid. Also, proteins are essential for the body cells, tissues, and organs to function and regulate correctly. Next is we have the roles of a protein. Proteins plays a crucial role in many biological processes. Proteins are everywhere and life would not be possible without them. Ma'am, how can life would not be possible without the proteins? It's because proteins are enzymes which speed up the reactions. And proteins is also a hormones which sends the messages, and proteins is also the antibodies which fight the infections in every wound we will or we have.
Proteins are essential molecules in living organisms. They act as enzymes, transporters, instructional components, and signaling agents. At the core of this function is the protein sequence, ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng amino acid sa isang polypeptide chain. Sa ating katawan, the definition and primary structure, a protein sequence is the exact order of amino acids linked by peptide bonds. The example is the sequence of insulin determines how it regulates our blood sugar. In building blocks, proteins are made of 20 standard amino acids. Bawat isa may sariling chemical property. Ang example nito is alanine. Alanine helps in energy production while lysine is important for growth and tissue repair. The functional significance, the sequence dictates the protein's biological role. Example, hemoglobin sequence allows oxygen transport collagen. Collagen sequence provides strength to skin and bones. Antibody sequence enable immune defense. Mutation is the effect even a single change. The sequence can alter protein function. In levels and protein structure, the primary linear amino acid sequence. Example is the chain of amino acid and insulin. In secondary, local folding into A helixes or V sheets. The example is keratin, in here form a helixes. In tertiary, overall, 3D shape on one polypeptide. Example, the active site of enzymes like amylases. Quaternary, a symbol of multiple polypeptides. Example is hemoglobin has 4 subunits working together. The protein sequence is the blueprint that determines how proteins fold, function, and interact in the cell. Sa madaling salita, kung paano kayos ang amino acid ay siya ring nagdidikta ng role ng protein sa katawan. Understanding protein sequence is crucial in medicines, genetics, and biotechnology as it helps explain diseases and guide treatment and development.
Today, I will be discussing the primary structure of proteins. The primary structure refers to the linear sequence of the amino acids that are linked together by peptide bonds. You can think of it as a chain, where each amino acid is like a bed connected in a specific order. Look at the key points. First, proteins are made up of amino acids joined by peptide bonds. These bonds form when the carboxyl group of one amino acid reacts with the amino group of another. Second, even a small change in the sequence of amino acids can affect the protein's stability. This means that the exact order is very important. The third one, The primary structure determines how the protein will fold and function. If the sequence changes, the shape and function of the protein may also change. For example, a protein chain can be arranged like this, from glycine to alanine to serine to valine. This sequence shows how specific the order of amino acids in forming a protein.
Next is we have the secondary structure of a protein. It is the way a protein chain locally folds into simple repeating shapes due to interactions between nearby amino acids. In basic terms, it's the first level of folding of a protein after the amino acid chain is formed. These shapes are mainly held together by the hydrogen bonds and usually form two common patterns. First is the alpha helix and second is the beta sheet. When we say alpha helix, it is a spiral or a coil shape. And when we say a beta helix, it is a folded sheet like a structure. So this concept is studied in biochemistry and is important for understanding how proteins get their final shape and their functions. So here, as you can see on our PowerPoint presentation, I have put here a example or a picture of the alpha helix and beta sheet structure of the secondary structure. So as you can see here, the alpha helix, it is a spiral and the beta sheet, it is folded. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.